Hello YouTube, St. Bob here at St. Bob's YouTube channel. This is going to be quite a lengthy video in regards to some Minecraft projects I've been working on. It's nothing too fancy or anything, but I'll go through them with you. You can see it's two very ugly looking houses, to say the least, and it's not the houses that I'm wanting to show off at all, because I'll be the first one to admit my architecture sucks ass, but it's what's inside that I'm wanting to show. So without further ado, let's go into the smaller house here. You can see this is the first house, this is the first project that I worked on in terms of redstone wiring. So what the project is, in fact you can see these pressure pads here. I'll show you those slightly a little bit later on. So you can see here it's just a house, and you've got your windows, you got your front door, and you've got bookcase there, yada yada, and you've got ladders that go up to the top there. It's not a staircase, but oh well, it's recession, the budget and all. So yeah, what I want to show off is what this button does here. Now I've not seen anything like this incorporated into a house. I've seen moving doors, I've seen drawbridges, I've seen all sorts, but I can't actually find anything that does this. I might be mistaken. I've not actually seen anything that does it exactly how I do it. I've seen semi variations of it, but nothing too complicated or over the top. But it's with pistons, and without further ado, let me just show you without me rambling on too much. So here we go. Boom. And it is a fully working panic button, so to speak. It turns your house into a panic room. Press that button and the whole entire house becomes turns onto lockdown, and the whole house, it's impenetrable. I say impenetrable as in you can't walk through it with the doors or anything like that. You can blow it up obviously because it's only made out of wood, and you can't put pistons, you can't put obsidian on top of pistons and then move them because it doesn't work. So I've used wood just because I like the wood texture, and I just like wood. It's easy. So I've put all that on there, and what you can see is it's done it for the whole entire house. So these windows here, where these pistons are, they are that's where the windows are. So I'll quickly go off and show you. Just go back up here, and there you can see the windows. Okay, now you can have a look at the other house across there, look as well. So yeah, this is the front of the house, and you can see here that this bookcase here is what is actually hiding all the wiring that takes the wire from the switch at the bottom all the way up to the top. Because what you can imagine is that there are actually 4 sets of pistons. So you've got your go down to the bottom. You've got your bottom set of pistons, which is all the way along the bottom here, that go up, and you've got your pistons there that go all the way down, and you've got the same again. There we go. And you've got the same again that actually that do it from the top. So what I'll show you quickly before I get locked out is this option here. These pressure pads, because some animal has just walked on it and actually shown you what it does without me telling you. But basically, when an animal, or a mob should I say, an NPC walks on top of it, it will actually trigger the shutters to shut. So it's like an added feature that when you're out of the house, I know obviously they can't open doors or anything, but I'm sure in the adventure update they probably will be able to open doors, or at least some way be able to open doors. You've kind of got to put pressure pads in, so when they stand on them, it closes the house. So no matter, even if they can open doors, they can't get in. Obviously if they walk through here they can, but I do actually have a pressure plate, or I have the wiring set up so that I can actually walk on it and it will lock it down. But I didn't want to put them in because it's trying to jump over it or just walk on it and wait for it. It was just inconvenient. So I could probably put a drawbridge in there of some description to make it a bit more secure. So without further ado, let me have a look at the wiring that I've done for it. So let's have a look. Let's go down to the bottom and work our way up. So you can see here that this is where the switch goes. This is where the wiring for the switch goes. It's here, and this is where the wiring for the whole pressure plates go. So that's there. And obviously I've got it cut off there so it doesn't create a continuous loop or a continuous circuit. And that's where the switch is. So obviously the power goes all the way through here, and it will trigger every single piston on this set of pistons. Now, please don't mock my my wiring techniques, because again, I'll be the first to admit that they suck, and I don't know everything about wirings, and I don't claim to. This is just my first project with redstone wiring, and I think I did alright. There's probably a lot easier ways to do it, but this is the way that I found to do it. So that was just a secret passage to another house, but that's not built yet. So let's go up. You can see how the wiring's all laid out, and it's pretty much identical on every single level. Now, I did have a bit of a hard time. I wanted to make sure that all the wiring was hidden. I wasn't too fussed about the pistons showing. I like that. I like the look of the pistons when they go up and down. I like that. But I wanted to hide the redstone wiring, so you can see that I actually have the wiring for the top and the bottom all hidden. So you can see here that I actually have the pistons here, and also the other pistons as well that control the tops here. They are hidden, and they're just there, and the piston on top and the piston underneath as well, and they both activate. So that saves some space, because I was able to trigger both sets of pistons at the same time, and that would obviously do that one there as well. And I'll show you the top. And here you go. This is the top, and it's the same pattern all the way through. So you've got your repeaters, and you got your wiring that all goes all the way through. And all the wiring itself, to get it from the button at the bottom to the top, goes through that bookcase at the button that goes through the house. Which you can imagine is quite hard to actually get a proper staircase in. To try and work out how to get the staircase in without it damaging or messing up or even complicating the redstone wiring. As I get more time, I probably can redo the whole staircase instead of just having this central column that goes through the house, and have it working properly. But it was the least of my concerns. So yeah, so you can see that the actual button is here, and the wiring goes all the way down into this bookcase, and it actually goes through there. So that's basically the concept, and that's what I've been working on. That's what I was doing, and it works pretty well. I think it's pretty good. Obviously, I do have another mod that I'm using at the moment that has nothing to do with the redstone wiring, but it's the Better for Wolves mod, and that does give you a couple of new blocks that could be quite useful when doing some sort of panic room. Instead of using pressure pads, you could use the detector blocks, and you can put those into your walls instead of the pressure pads, and that might be a good idea. So yeah, so that's the small house. The big house is pretty much the same deal. It's just laid out in a much grander, much bigger way, and it's also done so that all the pistons and all the redstone wiring are completely hidden. Hence why you've got such a big gap here, and I'll show you the workings of that in a second. I haven't put any of the pressure pads in. I didn't want to do that. It was a right pain. But I'll show you what I've done inside. So, as I mentioned before, I do have the Better for Wolves mod, Better Than Wolves mod, that I've got currently installed, and the main reason I had that really was purely for the light system. I wanted to try and get a working house, and I wanted to have the security system in, and I also wanted the light system in as well. So as you can see, I have the light system working, and that goes all the way through the house. So the first floor the ground floor and the first floor are all hooked up to one switch there. And I could probably complicate it even more and put a switch on each level, so that no matter which lever you put on, which button you press or which lever you switch on, it will actually switch on no matter which one you press. So as you can see, I've got some windows here that have double paned, and I haven't got here. I've just not completed them, just so you can see the pistons when they go up. So the idea was to conceal the pistons completely, and I think I've achieved that. You can see that. Oh, let me put the light on. So you can see that the actual the pistons and the shutters themselves are concealed behind the window, and if you go on the other side as well, which I can't do now because I've locked myself in, there's another pane of glass of window on the other side as well. So it just kind of hides it, and I like it. It was just another variation of the other house that I wanted to do. I wanted to conceal all the workings of it all, so when you press the button you couldn't really tell what was happening. So I'll just quickly show you. It's pretty much the same for this house than it is the other house. It's just a much grander scale. I have the wiring going up two sides. I have the wiring for the button, which is here. That's the wiring for the button, and the wiring for the whole entire house goes up two corners actually, so that it was easier for me to get the power across the house. So it goes up this corner all the way up to the top, and also it goes on this corner here all the way to the top. So I'll be able to show you that. Now, as I said before, I'm not a genius with redstone wiring, so and again we had the same. I had the same issue with this house as I did with the other house. It was trying to fit a staircase that went through the whole entire house without it disturbing all the wiring that we did, and it was just so hard. So trying to get it done was a pain. So at the end of the day, I just chose to not do it. So I just put this corner staircase in, which is a bit basic and a bit rubbish, but it serves its purpose. So you can see the lights are actually on still. The shutters here, I've not put a bottom row in like I have done at the bottom, a bottom row of blocks there, because I like the idea of being able to go up, and I don't know, it makes you, just feels as though you're not actually encased. You can like walk up right to the edge and you're not kind of out here, and that's as far as you can go. You can kind of see a bit further over the edge, and I quite like that. So let me show you the wiring we've done. So here we go. In fact, let me go and put on the switches so you can actually see all working properly. So this is a pain. You have to go all the way down to the bottom to actually press the panic button, which I suppose is kind of a downside to it. So I could probably get it so that I can press a lever on the top floor as well. That should probably do that at some point. So here we go. Let's go back in here. So you can see all the wiring is done in here. It was very complicated, this bit. It took me quite a long time to do this, and it was really hard, because I had to get it so the pistons worked. I had to have two rows of pistons. As you can see there, I've got a row of pistons there. That's for the bottom floor, the bottom top of the pistons, and this is for the second floor bottom pistons. And all this extra wiring here is actually the light switches. It's for the light switches here. So the lights come on. You can see that the wiring continues up here, and this takes it up. You can see this is behind the bookcase, so I can't go any further than that. But that basically takes everything up to the top set of pistons. And again, I don't think I can get that far without breaking it all. But yeah, there's another set of redstone wiring that goes up in that corner that is for the light switches. And there's some redstone wiring that went from that corner right at the basement up here, and that stops there. So let's go. I cut this hole out, by the way, just so I could get in without having to mess anything up. So let's go to the next area, and this is the attic. And ignore this lighting. This is just basic lighting, just so I could have the corners lit up. Nothing special. And here we go. So this is the top of the pistons. Again, it's the same pattern all the way through. That is where the redstone power comes from for this side of the redstone, and then you've got the other side here, which has the power for the light system. And there we go. That's pretty much everything. I've not seen anybody do like a proper security system. In terms of like using the pistons to do, I mean, I've seen the traps and things that people have done outside the houses, the lava, the falling drawbridge, and people dying in lava and things like that. But I've not actually seen something to prevent you from getting in the house, or getting people into the house, or NPCs. And granted, you know, you put some TNT next to this house and it's going to blow up. That's fair enough, but you know, I think it did just alright. Again, it was very hard to get the middle working, and I really wanted to shorten the actual house. So you can see it's really tall, really tall, and yeah, it was a real pain. And I'm sure there's so much easier way to do it, but again, I'm not an expert. I'm an amateur, and I figured I did alright for my first one. I'd like to do it so that the windows are much bigger. If I'm going to do it, if it has to be a house this size to encase all of the wiring, I don't mind. but I'd love to find a way of being able to create bigger windows and have the pistons linked up so that they all cover the whole entire windows, no matter how big they are. But I think that's going to be really hard. So yeah, guys, that's all I wanted to show. Leave your comments below. If there's any sort of videos or anybody out there that's done something similar to this, I'd love to see it, because I've not managed to find anything that is anything like this. I've seen obviously basic variations of it, where people just have a weird piston setup with the old Pistons mod that came out before this, the Pistons update that Notch released, which was really cool, but I've not actually seen anything like that or like this. So yeah, guys, thanks very much for watching. Leave your comments below, and just let me know what you think. And if you have any sort of tips or any hints or anything that can make it a little bit easier for me to be able to wire this a bit better, that'd be great. So guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.